Reddit, what is the worst secret your so is keeping from you, but that you actually know? My so is a veteran and very stereotypically manly. He doesn't talk about his personal life with friends, and he's pretty quiet in general. This is a southern traditional dude who opens every door for every person. He calls every person older than him ma'am and sir. Anyway, he has a lot of friends who are also this way and they often tease any man who says nice things about their women. His friends spilled the beans though, that one night, right after I met him, they all got crazy drunk, and he told all of them I was the love of his life and we were going to get married one day. They all teased him and were playing around when this one dude he doesn't know very well told him I had nice tits. He clocked him. He made such a commotion he's not allowed back in the bar. After his friend told me this story, I realized I had asked to go to that bar a couple of weeks ago, and he had made some excuse about the drinks being overpriced. I will never tell him I know, but if he asks me, I'll marry him. Edit. For all of you saying he's going to abuse me, I'm sorry but that's just hilarious. You know one story about him, one of which he is very ashamed. We are both highly educated, socially progressive, empathetic, and loving people. I guess I'm just asking for everyone to troll me with abuse stories now. I swear that this isn't even an option. I would never stay with someone that I had the slightest inkling they were going to hit me. Also, the guy he hit had a history of saying dirty shit about women and highly disrespecting them. He's had a couple of sexual assault allegations conveniently disappear. He's not a good dude. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, fuck him. Edit 2. Marriage has never been on my radar until I met this guy. I love him more than I've ever loved another person. But the actual act of marrying him isn't very important to me. However, as I mentioned, he is more traditional, and so marriage means something to him that it doesn't to me. When we first started having serious conversations about 5 years ago, this was also when I told him I was bisexual, about past relationships, etc. I jokingly promised him that if we ever decided to get married, I would let him plan the whole wedding. Fast forward, and he and my mom talk about the wedding we are going to have. I think it's adorable, and I love that it means something to him. We are both anthropologists, so I know he just likes rituals more than I do, and I would never take that away from him. If I proposed, he would be happy and accept, but it means so much to him to do it, I will just let him. My brother is getting married this year, and I know my so was going to propose, but stopped because he wanted us to have our own anniversary year. He tells my mom everything, and she lets shit slip BC she's old lol. What a sweetheart. When I was in Afghanistan, I wanted to use the money I made to buy a motorcycle. Combat pay is better than regular pay. I didn't have a car though, and I was getting out of the Marines in 8 months and moving back to the Midwest, where it is not at all practical to only have a motorcycle. I bought a car instead. Flash forward 2 years later, I meet my girlfriend and her 1-year-old son at the end of an ugly marriage and we begin a relationship. 2 years from that point we begin living together. Throughout all this time I've still been wanting to save for a motorcycle, but we needed to focus our money on more practical things. She needed a new car, we needed to pay for childcare, etc. I put my wants on hold to address our needs. She's known about my wanting a motorcycle for as long as she's known me, and finally she approved me to spend up to $1,500 on a bike if I could find one. Well, I found one for $2,000 on Craigslist, and it turned out the guy selling it was a friend from an old job I had as a security guard. He was a good friend and agreed to give me a friend price of $1,500. I went home and told my girlfriend, and she said that's great, we'll get it if it's the one you want. She then found the Craigslist ad. I showed her pictures, contacted my friend, and schemed to buy it out from under me for the full asking price of $2,000. For a while I was bummed, because I didn't know anything other than that my friend had another buyer willing to pay the full asking price. I told him I was just glad that my girlfriend was going to let me buy one, and he responded with, yeah, you're lucky. GF's name here sounds like a real keeper. The thing is, he had never met her, and I had never mentioned her name to him. So I had my suspicions. I played along, and continued searching for bikes, but never being satisfied with them, always saying my friend's bike was a way better deal, and that I thought I could do better. My birthday came around, she blindfolded me, and drove me over to his house. She even went out, and bought a bow, to place on it so there would be no confusion. It was a present for me. I'll let on that I had a few suspicions, because he immediately found another buyer after I told her about it a little later on, but maintained that I was blown away by the surprise. She is definitely a keeper. Her lupus is getting much worse, much more quickly than she had expected, and I'm afraid that she won't have much time left before her kidneys or liver fails. Apparently there's a ton of scar tissue forming already, even though she was diagnosed 2 weeks ago. My heart is filled completely with guilt, because I'm still in school, and she works long 12-hour nights as a nurse, doing brutal, exhausting work. She tells me she's tired once in a while, but she's always so happy to see me, and she always tells me that she's going to take care of me and support me endlessly until I'm done with engineering school. I feel so useless, because I don't have much money and it's hard for me to take care of her, yet she'll still take me out to eat so often, and buys nice clothes for me, when I would otherwise only be able to shop at thrift stores or clearance aisles. She loves me, and tells me about how much potential I have, even if my grades aren't great, and I'm struggling to do well in engineering. I feel that I'm part of the reason why she got sick. Maybe she feels she has to work so much, sometimes 4 to 6 days non-stop without days off in between, to support the people in her life and also make time for me. The worst part is that she always smiles when we spend time together and still asks if I want to go hiking or play tennis, things that I love doing that she sometimes objects to, even if she's barely slept or eaten and is still physically exhausted. I worry she forces herself to for my sake. All I tell her is that I'm tired and I'd like to read comic books with her, or put on Netflix, her favorites, and lay in bed and nap with her, because I don't know how much longer we'll be able to do that together. She's gained about 20 pounds from water retention. For a slim petite little thing, it's almost a fifth of her weight, and her legs have swollen so much that she can't bend her knees or walk without intense pain. I couldn't bear to see her unconscious in her hospital room, hooked up to fourths and machines, and it breaks my heart. I've known that I was going to marry her for a long time now, but I'm certain that I'm going to be by her side, no matter what happens, whether we have 5 months left together or 50 years. Edit. I don't know anything about autoimmune disease at all or medical stuff. My field of study is completely unrelated, and what I share is what I can make sense of. I hope someone can tell me that I'm dead wrong about all of this, and that she's going to be 100% okay soon. Edit 2. Thank you to everyone who has replied for your kind words and your thoughts. I really appreciate that you're thinking of us. In my girlfriend's case, she's a new RN who works 12-hour shifts. She's been mentioning that she's felt tired for a few months now, but we figured it was just work fatigue. To cope with it, she's been drinking more coffee and energy drinks on her shift to keep up with the demands of her job. I'm kind of beating myself inside up for not knowing better earlier and just using my common sense. Edit 3. She's going to be okay. For a while, she could barely eat or speak, no appetite at all for a girl that lives for food. Now we are watching a movie together, and she's yelling at the TV for having nothing good. She's got a bit of a temper, but if yelling means she's got some energy, I'll do my best to never get mad or hold it against her. I'm just happy that the love of my life is healthy. She's got to take about 2 dozen pills every day, and she's still got a lot of her water weight, and her hair is falling out, but she is a dream come true to me. She sent a guy nudes this last October. I know her Snapchat password and I checked. She asked him what he thinks, and he said that those were the most perfect pair he's ever seen. They both knew we were still dating, but no mentions of that. It hurts just typing this out cause I really like this girl, and when things are good they're really good, almost worth the hurt good. I wanna move on so badly, but I'm scared I'll never meet someone like her. She really seemed like the perfect girl, maybe even the one. I try really hard every day not to think about it cause she'll know that something's up. But when I'm alone I almost start crying, and sometimes I do. Kinda feels nice to get it off my chest. Overall I'm in a pretty dark place right now because of it. I don't know if I can trust anyone ever again. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the nice words. I just woke up, and I'll add a bit of detail and say last night I was really depressed when I wrote this. I don't actually think about it as much as it comes off to, since it was 5 months ago. This thread just really triggered it, and I just wanted to get it out of my chest. Didn't expect anyone to read it. Nobody is perfect, we all make mistakes. The difference is in people who try to not make new mistakes or repeat old ones. They are the ones who deserve second chances, and I believe she is that kind of person. I believe she regrets what she did, so I will try harder to forgive and get over what she did, because I really love her. When I'm with her the world just seems far less shitty. I forget about what she did. She is like a drug, and I'm an addict. She is the only girl that has made me feel this way. It's not just about the sex as some people have said, just being with her makes me happy. That said, I believe in second chances, but not in third. Our relationship seems pretty healthy at the moment, and spend as much time together as we possibly can. We were both going through a lot of drama that I don't want to get into at the time she did it, and it's given me an excuse to think she won't do it again. I really want to talk to her about it, hear her side of the story, and try to make sense of it, because I keep asking myself where did I go wrong? Maybe one day I would bring it up. I'm 21 and she is 19. We are both growing up mentally. She is definitely a more mature person than she was when I started dating her. But yeah, as I said, I believe in second chances, not in third. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it isn't, it isn't. We aren't dating anymore, but I guess I'll share it anyways. We were having problems the last few months of our relationship. One day I saw phone while she was using it and noticed guy's name at the top of her received Snapchats with the little smiley face saying they snapped a lot. I don't care if she has male friends. I'm not the jealous or possessive type. Thing is, she is that type and has always told me of guys she's friends with / regularly talks with, and mostly not being close friends with guys at all. She checked it several times in the few hours we were hanging out, like she was having a conversation and anxious for a reply. Then I went away for 2 weeks for training where we fought a fair amount over text / phone calls. When I came back, her attitude seemed different, and she was far more possessive with her phone. In the year we were dating, and many years that we've known each other / been involved, she has never been possessive or secretive with her phone. Never tried to hide it from my vision while on it. Used to sleep with it on the shelf next to her, but started sleeping with it under her pillow. Changed the password from 4 digits, which she had always told me, and asked me to open the phone for her sometimes, to 6 digits and a fingerprint scanner, and wouldn't let me know the password. I never cared about knowing it, but it changed from having me open the phone to look at something to having me give her the phone and not allowing me to touch it. Every once in a while I'd see the screen while she was using it, and guy's name would be there in her snaps or texts. Obviously I was suspicious, but I told myself if we were gonna work, I'd have to trust her. If there was something going on, she wouldn't tell me anyways. A month after we broke up, I saw a Facebook picture she was tagged in. Her friend's boyfriend, her and guy. Very clearly a double date. She had always been very against cheating and took it seriously. I believe her that she really holds that belief. On the other hand, she has a tendency to redefine things and take a perspective that justifies her actions. Even implying I thought she might cheat would be enough to set her off. I'm not convinced she physically cheated on me, but I'm certain she was flirting with and having an intimate connection with this guy. Something that in my book, and hers if it was her so doing this, is cheating. We are still friends, sort of, more like friendly people with mutual friends. She has some serious emotional insecurities, including that she's terrified that guy she's involved with, or was involved with, that she's on good terms with would think she's a bad person, or did something bad. She had a breakdown when I misunderstood her text once and thought she bullied someone. I'm sure if she knew I'm aware of her cheating on me, she would have some kind of breakdown. My husband has cheated on me. We were rather drunk together in mid-July last year, and I was trying to get ready for bed, yay work. We were talking about things we'd done that day and things we were looking forward to. He is a night owl. I'm a morning lark. This has never caused an issue with us before. Next week, we were going to visit our best friend who lives a few states over. Husband was talking about stuff, etc. I'm sitting on the bed, very tired, but still listening and awake. Suddenly he finishes off his statement with "I'm cheating on you." At this point, I just laugh. 1. I'm drunk, and very much so. At this point, I laugh and say, "What?" He repeats it, but suddenly hustles me to bed. I figure I must be tired too. I misunderstood. I was too drunk. The next day, I remember everything. But, I'm scared. I ask, "You were trying to tell me something last night. What was it?" "I don't remember anything like that," he effectively says. He laughs it off. I try for the next week to try to get him to talk about it. He won't broach it. I'm too scared to press the issue, which I blame my own stupidity and shyness on, for whatever good it does. I don't bring it up again eventually, because I want to see friend, and friend is dear to both of us. We visit friend, and come back. There is a night when I wake up. In my recognition, he is talking to someone outside the door. "Your light wasn't on." "I didn't know." I wake up and confront him. "I wasn't talking out loud," he insists. "I was letting an animal outside." At this point, I just want him to be accountable. Like, fucking fess up, jackass. He's accusing me of giving him an standard after all that. Like, fuck you. Be a grown up and be honest, a swipe. You told me and didn't think I'd remember. But at this point I'm too chicken to bring it up anymore, and neighbor bitch moved away, who is the particular person I thought they were cheating on me with. At this point, I just don't care. Just fucking be honest. Too late for that shit, I guess. Super late to the party, and also past 10/ not all that bad, but I had an ex who threw a huge fit at the beginning of our relationship over not masturbating or watching porn while dating someone, unless it's with them, so he told me he deleted all his porn. I was just horrified that anyone would delete 7 years of collecting porn time since his ex, just for a relationship when the other person thinks it's stupid, but whatever, right? He dropped it when I told him I wasn't about to stop touching myself, just because I now had someone else to do that to me, so I didn't see a point in arguing further. Found the folder while chilling at his apartment playing video games on his laptop while he was at work, with his permission, obviously. I was just digging up his Steam directory because his laptop sometimes deleted desktop shortcuts and didn't get along well with using the launchers through Steam. I know I shouldn't have looked, but fuck it, why not? It was named fanfic, and he made a huge deal about not having any secrets or things he didn't want me looking at on his phone or computer, and how I could look at anything I wanted to. Huge folder, though, with hundreds of pics and video files dating back to when he was a freshman in college, 7 years prior, up to literally days ago. All meticulously organized, indexed, and labeled. Fuck, it'd have to be, or he'd never find what he was looking for, with the name of the root folder literally the only security measure. He even had a separate folder of stuff I had shown him named S-Porn, because we watched porn together, and he had to keep track of what I knew he had. Obviously, had some pretty good shit, honestly. Never told him I saw it. Broke up a year later over indirectly semi-related issues. Still have no fucking clue why he felt like masturbating in private was shameful. Not like I ever pretended I didn't masturbate without him, but had no problem lying about it or watching the same exact porn with me. People be weird, yo. This happened not only a week or two ago. It's still tearing me apart. Some things to note: we are a classic high school couple, have been together for 9 years, we've lived together for probably about 7 years. Also her parents have passed, and we have been guardians to her younger brother for a while now. Basically we haven't been doing great, but I've always really loved the good about our relationship. I felt we were strong, and could always overcome the little fights we had, which were usually about me doing something stupid, or not doing the dishes. I wish I'd tried harder in hindsight. But one day she tells me she needs space, that we should try taking a break. I agreed to it, and tried to make the best out of it like always. She also said it's not like she'd go out and cheat on me. The break is something I shouldn't have agreed to because I'm apparently a very jealous creature. I unfortunately went through her phone, found out she kissed another guy. She kept telling me it was a mistake. But again I moved on and tried to relax, until I started to notice a difference in her movements and the way she looked at her phone and her texts. That smile. I know she's falling in love with these random guys, and I also know she slept with 2 of them. It's killing me. I already confronted her multiple times, and she assures me we both need space to work on ourselves. I'm having so much trouble moving on now. It's brutal seeing her text someone and move on so quickly. I know I need to move out, but she has no job and she lose the place. I love her and hate her at the same time. I just need someone to tell me I'm not crazy for feeling this way. /edit. Sorry about text wall. Will clean up post tomorrow. I can't lose my job over all this sleep I've lost over her. I'm almost positive he was sexually abused as a child. His family is severely messed up, and most of them belong to a culty religious group known for being somewhat insular. They only associate and socialize with each other unless it can't be helped. The kind of people who will shield perpetrators and quietly look away from known abuse of all kinds, including sexual and child abuse. Several of his family members are sex offenders. He has sisters and at least 2 of them were molested or raped by multiple people, multiple times, and it was swept under the rug. I have no concrete evidence of this, just a lot of signs and some red flags pointing to it. He has a hard time establishing close connections with people, has had issues in the past with alcoholism, can be prone to violent outbursts, but has become Ruffalo Bruce Banner levels of skilled at controlling it, and has other personal/sexual issues that probably shouldn't be discussed. None of these things alone is enough to make me think anything happened, but the fact that he has so many indicators steers me in that direction. I don't work in the field, but I have a background in psychology with a focus on survivors of childhood abuse, so traits that come off to other people as being quirky or just slightly dark stand out to me. There's no way I can confront him about this, because there's no way to politely slip it into the conversation. As far as I know, he's never told anyone. It's likely he's never even come to terms with it himself. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Please leave a like and subscribe.